Hi, it's Lucy from Artshed Angel, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about drawing faces. I also will have downloadable faces that I'm going to show you to use of my own. So if you can't draw faces, please don't be concerned that you can't do journaling, because I'm going to show you different techniques to be able to do that. But today I'm just going to show you some basic ideas about faces. Firstly, we're going to draw an oval. So most people's faces are oval. Okay. When I say oval, it's going to have a slightly smaller bottom. So it's narrower on this end than it is that end. A lot of people will draw an absolute oval, but I'm going to do that. So again, be light with your pencil. Don't be afraid to sketch. Get yourself a notepad that's quite economical and practice with your drawing. So then I'm going to divide it down the center and down the center again. So this is going to be to place my images and place my face. So we're going to measure halfway between there, and that's going to be where the nose sits. And then we're going to place halfway between there, and that's where the mouth is going to sit. So firstly, I'm going to look at eyes. So when people draw eyes, a common thing to do is draw them kind of like a fish and put a circle in the center. Now, why does that not look real? I'm going to show you the main reason that that doesn't look real is because an eyelid would sit over the top. So that doesn't look real either, really, yet. But also when we look at a face has a cut off here. So because the nose is going to run down, so when we draw an eye, we're going to get a cut off. And you'll find that an eye will close down on the other end as well. So I'm just going to show you a basic shape. So when I draw an eye, I will do more a shape like that. Now it all depends. Everyone's eyes are different, but this is just a very simple way. So I've done pretty much that same, what we call fish shape, I guess, and I've cut it off here, and I've just dipped it down there, because when you have a nose, your eye actually dips down slightly in that area there. Okay, now we have the simple eye. Now I'm just using a coloured pencil, so this is great to practice with because they're not intimidating. Then I'm going to do a pupil. So if I was doing a pupil that was looking straight ahead, often my the pupil will come to the bottom, or the coloured part of the eye. And I tend to do really large pupil iris to accentuate, because it's a friendlier look. When you do a very pinpoint, it's not a friendly look, so it depends on how you wish to do it. Now I'm going to do the eyelid, and again it has a similar angle here as the front of the eye. Then I'm going to shade, because an eyelid sticks out quite, if you have a look at someone's eye, an eyelid sticks out quite far from the person's eye. You're going to get a little bit of a shadow, and you get a little bit of a shadow here too, because that's underneath, because an eye is round. Now the center of an eye is usually black and shiny, but if they're sitting in front of a window, they might even have a reflection of a window in their eye. Then we're going to go, if you look at a person's eye, you'll have lines radiating out from the center. You might even have little tiny spots here and there. Have a look at someone's eye. Look at the person next to you and have a look at their eye and what's different about it. Some fashion magazines are great for this, because you can have a look at what an eye looks like. Now you're probably saying, oh, I can't draw like that, but you need to practice. I'm also going to give it a little bit of that fleshy skin there at the top that holds the eyelashes. And when I draw eyelashes, I radiate them out. Now I need to, when I go to the center, they radiate out. So they tend to, if you look again at someone's eyelashes, they radiate out. Now that's probably a little bit extreme for the eyelashes, to tell you the honest truth. And if I wanted to give a lovely eyeliner, I could even give her some eyeliner. But shaping it like a ball, because an eye, just imagine an eye is like a ball, so you end up with shading around the edges. And because the light's coming from there, the eye will be darker on this side. So make it darker, because that again shows the shape of the eye. Okay, so that's just a basic eye. Now that's probably, we're drawing something quite a bit smaller here, so where do we put the eye? I put the top of the eye on the top of that line. And an eye is usually approximately an eye apart. So you'll find that this eye and this eye, what I'm doing, is approximately one eye apart. So that's a good gauge. So you can make things look more whimsical by making a huge space between. So if you do a large space between, you'll end up with quite a whimsical looking person. So I'm creating this first. I work on both eyes at the same time because I have a habit of having different eyes otherwise. I'm just going to put a little ball where the nose is and two little balls where the nostrils are. So, and then that nose is going to come up between. Now this is not a lifelike person. It's going to be a little bit whimsical, but it's a basic idea. Okay, so again I'm going to put the ball. Now you just practice this. You'll be really surprised when you try this how easy it is if you follow my diagrams and that. So here we have we've already got a little bit of a person. I used to make teddy bears, and it wasn't until the teddy bears had eyes that I felt like they had a personality. So when you start drawing, you'll find that you'll end up with a personality that just comes out, and that's the beauty of it. I often let the picture take its own style, if that makes sense. Now eyebrows tend to come from where the nose goes above the eye, and it fans out and kicks down. Of course, different expressions, eyebrows have a different look, so you can raise an eyebrow, but this is basically an eyebrow. Now her mouth, I'm just going to do a little, right where that line was, I'm just going to do a little wobbly line that kind of kicks up. Then I'm going to put a crescent underneath, and then like a cupid's bow there. Now if I just kick that up a little bit at the sides, suddenly she looks happier. Okay, so I'm going to now give her some shape. So I usually like girls to have a little bit of a squarer chin. I don't know, everyone has their own style, but I like the squarer look. She has ears that are probably approximately from her nose to her eye, just above her eyes. So little ears. I think it's nice not to have too much detail in ears in these sort of drawings. And she looks quite nymph-like, so I'm thinking I might give her some short hair. So maybe a fringe. So hair is something you play with. I kind of try to keep, unless you want a really bouffant look, I try to keep just, I suppose, a little bit above the shape of that oval. So in this case she's going to have a nice little nymph-like short hair. Okay, so what makes her look real now is when we start to shade her. So of course there's a shading in this eye socket. Put her eyelids. You can see again I'm working from one side to the other. She's going to have a bit of shadow under her nose and shadow in this eye socket. Then we're going to give a little bit of shading. So it's really fun if you start to use just pencils. Just get a set of colouring in pencils and just practice. Get A4 paper and practice faces. Don't try to do them first in your journal because sometimes that feels a little bit too scary. So I'm making shadows so you can see her face is starting to pop. And she can have some shadow under her hair. Again, her iris. Her eye looks very flat, so we're going to start putting some of that shading in that I said. Here we've got that little bit of the eye that creases in the middle, your tear ducts. So bring that radiating out. And I'm doing it just darker to really enhance her eyes. Now her top lip will be a little bit more in shadow, so I'm just going to put that really dark. And then her bottom lip will be catching a bit of light, so I'm going to do that a little lighter. Okay. Remember that tear duct there? And that's a basic face. Now I'm going to give you some basic faces to trace. Now she's got quite a short face. So if you wanted to have like a more long, elegant face, obviously you're going to draw your oval longer. Okay? So you create a longer oval, which gives more space between her eyes and her nose and her mouth. That gives that more elegant look. If you wanted to draw a really cutesy face, you might make it a circle instead. And do really big, we could do really big eyes. And make them far apart. You can see that's more cartoony like. So it really depends on the size of your oval. Try a long one, try a short one. Have a little practice of eyes, but when you're doing eyes, make sure you do your opposite one too. So again, sketching. A lot of people are afraid of sketching. So I used to wonder why I couldn't just draw a line, or I wouldn't just draw a perfect eye straight off. I find I need to sketch. So when you sketch, you put down a lot of lines. If you're using a pencil, that's great because you can rub it out. But if you're somebody who needs to sketch and then look at these lines and go, oh, I really think that is the line I need to use. So don't be afraid to do that. And remember, if the center of the eye is looking forward, you can create a looking forward eye. Okay, so I'm going to do more sketches as we go along, but that's a basic idea. So you might like to watch this video and actually have a go at drawing her face. Thanks a lot. Thank you from Arch Angel, and thank you for joining me here today. Bye.